everyone. Welcome back to the Community HOPEcast. We're going to do a special segment because it is May, which is AAPI Heritage Month, if you don't know, which is Asian American Pacific Heritage Month, Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is to really uplift voices in our Vietnamese community. So here I have my friend Emily. To me, I look up to her because she is so actively involved in the Vietnamese community. She does so many things. The girl does not give herself a break. And so she has like very valuable experience participating and impacting like community members, just like doing like a massive amount of just community work. And so I just really wanted to highlight and uplift her experiences. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Thank you for having me. Hi, my name is Emily Tran. I am a Vietnamese American living here in Little Saigon. I'm currently active in UVSA, Union of Vietnamese Student Associations of Southern California, and Phan Boi Chau Youth Association.
Can you tell me what are these organizations and what you do in them?
So UVSA essentially is an organization that preserves a space for Vietnamese Americans to go to serve the community, and to participate in events that promote the Vietnamese culture. So essentially a lot of college organizations, college VSAs are also a part of this association. And every year they host a festival, which is a Lunar New Year festival that celebrates essentially Lunar New Year. And in that area, I am one of the directors for that festival. I'm one of the directors for Culture Village, which essentially is when we replicate a Vietnamese village by creating traditional decorations, having different volunteers dress up in traditional clothing, and also have different historic artifacts essentially in the village. And then with Phan Boi Chau, essentially I am the president this year, and we are trying to promote our young members, because a lot of our target group is like high school and young college students. So we're just trying to serve our community while actively learning about current events that are going on in Vietnam.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a mouthful. So
that was crazy. First of all, this year she was the director for the cultural village, and I went to go help out. She did such an amazing job, because that village in itself, it was like such a large space that she had to manage. And like she's managing all the tables, the decoration, the spaces, like, and there's so many multiple teams that she has to manage. Dude, it was insane. Like just me being a volunteer there for like one day. I also came around like the first night to just mess around, because I was like, okay, let's see if she needs any food.
Dude, you're so real for coming out, dude. Sorry.
Dude.
Thank you.
No, but you literally did such a great job. I also didn't know you were like the president for I forgot how to say it. Can you say
Phan Boi Chau.
Phan Boi Chau this year, because I
Yes.
knew that you were promoting some of the events, but you're also like the president, so like that's a lot of work, because you're also like there's so many people under you, and you're doing like such amazing work. So I just want to say thank you for being just representing the community.
Stop. I'm trying to be humble. Like, you're doing too much right now. I'm just here.
You gotta take a moment.
You gotta take a moment. Like, you gotta give yourself that grace. But can I ask you how you first got your start in joining VUSA and PBC?
Okay, I'm gonna be so honest with you. Like, I was in high school and, in Key Club. So you gotta get your hours in. So sophomore year of high school, I signed up for UVSA, and I was like, oh my gosh, like they're doing that festival. I've heard so much about it, especially because now they're doing it at OC Fairgrounds when it used to take place in Garden Grove Park. So I haven't been ever since it took place in OC Fairgrounds until like that year when I volunteered. And it was so much fun, and I was just messing around like with my homies. And then I noticed the staff members, they're like, hey, you should dress up with us. And I'm like, okay, dressed up, got roped in. Next thing you know, I'm on like the team, real, whatever, and now I'm here.
Real. No, that's actually how a lot of community work goes. Like, you're just brought in, you're networking.
Right time, right place.
Right time, right place. You join in, and, same thing for me and Jane. We just got looped up, and now we're working for health services.
And now we're doing all this.
And now we're doing all of this. It's crazy. And now we're interviewing you. So maybe you'll be a part of our team.
Okay, where's the sign-up sheet?
Okay. Like,
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
I mean, what's one more?
What's one more?
You're already doing like
There's only 24 hours in a day.
2 big ones.
I'll manage.
Do you sleep?
Oh yeah, I actually do. Like, like I really promote like getting that 8 hours sleep in. So I don't like staying up like past 12. Like I'm a 10 p.m. girly and an 8 a.m. girly.
We
10 p.m.
love.
Thanks.
Okay, shout out to the volunteers. Get your rest in, please. But I think one of the other things is like when you join to do, like when you start volunteering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you continue to do that, because I know for a lot of people, like they start volunteering and then like they stop immediately because they're like, oh, my hours are done, right? I finished whatever I needed, Key Club wanted me to do. But for you, like you continue on and now you're holding a lot of these like big positions that have a lot of responsibilities. What inspired you to keep going on and doing like a lot of the community work that you're doing now?
I feel like it's the family that you joined in with a group of people. So for LVN, oh sorry, it's called Lang Việt Nam. Culture Village, translated in Vietnamese, it's Lang Việt Nam, but we call it LVN for short. Sorry, I did not preface that later. But LVN essentially, it was like a whole family. Like everyone was so like inclusive. They were like, at the time, I was like pretty young in comparison to like the other staff members. So I looked up to them like older brothers and sisters. And I've been with them for like 6, 7 years, considering the fact that I was like there for my teenage years. I felt like I grew up with them essentially. Like I've seen them grow up too. And I'm like, wow, like these are my auntie, so cool. But I feel like that's one of the biggest factors. Like if you meet the right people, like you'll do anything. Like you'll ride or die for them.
You're so ride or
Yeah.
die for real. Like for real, like dead A. Emily's such a ride or die in the group that we're in.
And then like another thing too, it's like, I don't know, like I feel like getting to know the community really shows like, oh, like this is like my identity. This is who I am. Like I'm trying to like now understand where my mom's coming from, considering the fact that like, oh, she's been trying to get me into the community like from a young age, like going to scouts, taking Viet classes, stuff like that. So I feel like after like learning and finding your own pace, like it's just like it just takes off from there.
Is
Yeah.
there a favorite memory you have of just like LVN or PBC so far?
Oh my gosh, I did not talk about PBC enough. I'm so sorry. But essentially, PBC is also one of the supporting groups for LVN. So PBC actually helps set up LVN also, if that makes sense. Because UVSA and PBC, they have a strong like alliance in the community, which is so great because organizations working together, that is even better than just, oh, you just showing up and stuff like that. But essentially, my favorite memory, I'm going to be so honest with you. Like this makes me look like, this is embarrassing, but it's so funny. It's actually this year. What's it called? Like we were setting up lanterns, and remember that big storm that week prior to that?
Oh, the rainstorms in
hurricane.
California.
Yeah. So we were indoors, and then at the time we were like trying to set up lanterns. Like, oh, let's just preset this up. So by the time it's sunny again, we just take it out and then hang it up. And I was like, oh my gosh, these colors are so beautiful. Let's just pop them out. Like there's so many volunteers, there's so many staffs here. Let's just pop them out. And then I didn't really think about it. I just saw this mountains and mountains of pink, purples, and blues, and I was just like getting into it. I was like, wow, this is so fun to see. This is so aesthetically pleasing. Problem is, like you can only do so much within a certain time frame. So we just had lanterns sitting there for like a week. Like our left extra ones. Like we ordered extras and I forgot about it until we opened it up, and it's like, now it's a waste. We have to do something with it. Sorry.
Like sat through the rain as well, or
it was inside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So by the time it was like clear again, that's when we set them up. But then we have extras, because when we set up lanterns, you also have to connect them on the bulbs, and we didn't have enough bulbs to let. So we basically had a stack of opened lanterns we couldn't close. So it's just a stack of purple and pink and blues in the corner of the room.
Were these the traditional ones where like it was like made out of wood, or like these like the paper lanterns that you expand?
The paper ones that open in the circle one, the sphere ones.
But either way, like you still made the festival look really good though.
Stop.
No,
The
like,
whole team and I did.
Real, like I'm like, you should have seen the lanterns. Like it was very nice. Like I'm gonna be biased and I'm gonna say it's not as good as our lanterns for our Mid Autumn Moon Festival.
Wait, I want to see.
Did you not come?
No, I had.
Oh, you were busy.
work.
Sorry.
Hey, we have pictures.
We have pictures. Or you want to join this year?
I mean, yeah, that's what I've been saying since day one.
Okay. I'll get you to sign up, Shane. I'll contact you when we
Okay.
do our Mid Autumn Moon Festival.
Okay,
'Cause
okay.
that one, we go all out.
That one seems so fun. Like I saw the photos, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I got FOMO.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I got serious FOMO. I was like, wow, like they seem like they're
Here,
having fun.
I'll schedule you before. So
Okay.
take the day off or something. I'll pay you for the day.
Okay.
I mean, we do have a set date already.
Yeah, we do have a set
Yeah.
date. Yeah.
Can we get a preview? Can the viewers and I get a preview
Of what this year is?
Or
whatever information you can give us?
let's keep it a secret.
Okay, fine.
Let's keep it a secret. But going back to the topic,
Sorry.
I think one of the things I also wanted to know is because I've only met Emily for like 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years probably.
Just 2 years.
Yeah.
But I've always known her like to be just such a big community leader, like a big, you do so much impact in the community. What was your journey like to really create an impact? Or like, do you feel like you've created an impact? Because for me, like, I feel that you have, but do you feel that way?
I don't see it as in like I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm humble because I'm supposed to. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I just do what I do. You know what I mean? So like when a lot of people went up to me actually and they're like, wow, this LVN is such a success. Like, good job. Like for me, I'm like, that's the bare minimum. Like I'm supposed to do that. So it's kind of hard for me to also take in that like compliments and stuff like that. Like it's easy for me to take in critique just because I want to do better. But at the same time, like if I'm getting that like a compliment and the validation that I'm doing okay, like it's good for me at least because I know I'm going on the right path. But at the same time, I'm like, it's the bare minimum. You're supposed to do good,
You're supposed to do the work in the community.
I get
That's
it,
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, like, it is part of your job description and everything, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, when you have it all down on paper, like, what is your impact story? Like the highlights of it all.
I feel like leadership isn't like a linear journey. Like for me, like even like with LVN, like I struggled being a director at first, like just because I grew up with this family. Like a lot of the members now they're younger than I am, so it's like they're like my homies. So it's like kind of hard for me to set that fine line between being a leader and then being a friend at the same time, especially when like I don't want to be that person where it's like, oh, I switch out just because I'm a leader or whatever, or power trip essentially. So I'm like, it was kind of hard for me to like really like get used to the position, I guess. So it didn't take me long though, because it's like all that responsibility. You had no choice. If you signed up for it, you got to do it. You can't just like go back and forth on it per se. So yeah, it's not a linear journey. I feel like once you get used to it, like it's very fun. It doesn't feel like it's scary anymore. Yeah.
Can I ask you, because on the day of, like, everyone was running around, so like I just saw a lot of people. Can I ask how many teams and how many people were working under you?
Okay, so for LVN, okay, so we have the directors. Shout out to my co-director, Long Huyn.
Shout out to Long.
Like without him, like LVN's like going down in flames. I'm gonna be so honest. Like I feel like having like that partner gets you through everything, especially when like, you can't just rely on yourself. You gotta rely on someone. And I also have a team under like that's like 65 people like around there, not including an alumni. Alumni is like a whole nother. Like I think it was like 10. And on top of that, like some of the debt chairs and vice chairs were like LVN alumni on top of that. So they were my advisors. Shout out to this year's debt chairs and vice chairs. So it was like a lot of support. I felt super grateful and privileged to be able to like have this support because it's like, wow, like I didn't think people were like supporting me that much. Like I thought I was like, hey, like, I'm here. But like after like seeing like how many people like just showed up on rainy days, that's crazy. Really crazy.
65 is a lot to wrap
I'm
my head
still,
around.
I'm still shocked about, like, girl said 60. At best, like, the most amount that I had was like 30.
Woo.
That's still a lot.
And that's not like a special day. Like that's not like
that's like a special day.
Not even like a long-term
Girl,
thing.
you said 60? That's crazy. She said impact. Girl really said impact 60 people. But let's also include all the attendees that attended Thet Fest for the past 3 days for Thet, because it's the 3-day festival, right?
Yeah.
That's girl probably impacted like 1 million community members up in here.
Stop.
No.
Doing me too much.
I'm supposed to.
You did a lot.
I need to uplift your voice and experience, dog.
Okay, my bad. My fault.
Let me
It's
do
your
my
job.
Yeah, come on. But as you're doing a lot of this community work, a lot of it is because you're in Vietnamese-based organizations.
Yeah.
How has your culture influenced the work that you've done?
Like, for example, like the cultural impact.
The cultural impact. Like, has it had an impact on you? It's like an open-ended question.
Okay.
I mean, you also
period.
mentioned earlier as well, like how you're parents try to get you involved in like the Vietnamese culture as well? Like maybe your family influenced you, or anything from your childhood has impacted the work that you've done in LVN?
Oh, definitely. Okay, shout out to my mom. Those Viet classes were worth it. 7 years of Viet was worth it. Anyway,
Ooh.
for that, like I felt like talking to community leaders. Like I even told them too. I was like, thank you guys for supporting me. Like remember how like I was so like shy and so scared of y'all at the beginning. Like I do admit, like it was just because I was also scared of saying the wrong word in Vietnamese. So like informality instead of saying formality terms like that. But then as I got involved, I felt like my Vietnamese language got better. Like the literacy skills in general got better. Also learned like how there's certain things you have to do in the culture village. You can't just put some Vietnamese typical thing and call it a day. You know, you have to do your research, make sure like this is like something that you can actually execute and not just say you want to do it because you want to do it. Stuff like that. So I feel like there's a lot of deep and meaningful thoughts behind what you do. It's not just, oh, like I'm doing it because I want to do it. Like it's pretty, let me do it. No, you have to put more effort into it. So it has to be consistent effort.
Was there things like historical accuracy that you had to pay attention to as well? Things like that?
Yes, definitely.
Historical accuracy, cultural accuracy. Okay. We mentioned a lot this month for API Heritage Month, but many episodes we've talked about how, language is one of the best ways to get into a culture, right? And you're saying that you had to also speak a lot of Vietnamese in planning and stuff as well. Like, how was that? Because I know that we're hosting this podcast in English, and like we kind of forget, like, oh, like, because in our work too, we have to be bilingual and we speak Vietnamese in the work that we do. So like, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Like learning and speaking and texting in Viet. Like sometimes like I text community leaders like, hey, like our meeting changed. Like I just don't do it English. I kind of have to do it in Vietnamese because I want that practice in, but also like it also helps our community leaders like understand, if that makes sense. So a lot of the emails I send out like for monthly reminders or any like if I need help with certain things, then I would send it out in English. It also gets my technical writing skills into, so it's kind of cool. But texting in Viet, like I don't know, it's just like after like practicing it, I feel like you get immersed in it so much that's like it feels like it's like a normal everyday thing now. So I feel like it's not a big deal. So at first I made a big deal. I was like, oh my gosh, I could speak without Vietglish. But then as time from time, it's like, oh, I'm supposed to talk in full Vietnamese, if that makes sense. Yeah, just like how you do in English. That's how it is. That happens in my head. Sorry.
Do you feel like now, like you started using a lot more Vietnamese in your everyday life compared to like before?
Yes, like talking to my mom, like we need to vent to her about something, it's not like, oh, con phải đi to supermarket. Like I say it like the whole thing in Viet. Like sometimes I would stutter because I say it like the wrong way or like I get the accent marks wrong. But then most of the times, like sometimes like I talk to my mom, it's like, wow, I didn't think I knew this word like that. But it just comes up when you talk. So I feel like that practicing gets you like some brownie points, gets your mom proud, you know?
Have you felt more connected to your culture now that, even more connected to the Vietnamese culture now that you've like increased your Vietnamese skills?
Yes, I feel like connecting with like the people, especially with my mom, like I feel like, wow, like this is amazing. This is why my mom put me in the first place. Like I feel like I can communicate with so many people. I feel like it's more so like the community itself rather than like, oh, learning new things, like learning about the artifacts, which are cool. But it's just like at the end of the day, like you're talking to people that are also Vietnamese and that also have the same passion and aspirations as you. So it's like, wow, like we can relate and we're doing the same thing together. Yeah.
That's so cute. You're so cute, Emily.
Stop it.
Yo, baby. I'm so proud of her. Sorry, I just needed to say that. Because, I feel like not a lot of people, like, really make that effort. Because it is hard learning, like, another language.
Definitely.
But, like, I feel like there's, like, kind of, like, this generational jump where, like, you slowly are losing all of your Vietnamese because, you live in America.
Yeah. Especially when you said that you could have communicated in English as well.
Exactly.
So you make that, like, the extra step. Do you have any tips for anyone wanting to learn Vietnamese or anything?
Take classes or enroll yourself in Duolingo. Or those, sorry, we're not supposed to say that.
You can say
fine.
Duolingo.
It's
You
fine.
can say Duolingo. It's okay to say brands.
Shout out to apps that allow you to learn languages.
How many hours have you spent on Duolingo?
I haven't actually used the app.
I'm dead.
Oh, I mean,
I'm dead.
I took classes. So
Oh yeah, that's right. 7 years of classes. Was it like the weekend?
Yup.
Like the temple?
Oh, okay.
Yup.
Temple and church?
Yup.
Real. Me
Okay.
too.
But my friends have used those apps and they've been getting their streak in, and it's like so cool. It's like, oh my gosh, like we can talk in Vietnamese if anything.
Can I ask if when you text in Vietnamese, are you using the abbreviated words? Because I know like in Vietnamese, like we text abbreviated a lot.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
do you spell everything
Dude,
out?
yeah.
I have to spell everything out because I don't know the
That's like the
slang.
next layer. That's
What I'm trying to like. I was literally about to bring it up. I was like, if you guys brought it up, I would have brought it up too. But like, I'm literally looking up like TikToks, like what are the Vietnamese people actually using for slang? And it's like, oh, like I don't do it on my mom, obviously. So
Yeah.
I type the whole thing out, but sometimes
But
I
isn't that especially hard to do here though? Because you know, the Vietnamese population here, it's like a snippet of Vietnam frozen in time here. Like,
oh yeah,
is anyone here doing abbreviated Vietnamese slang like over text? Unless they've like frequented the motherland, you know,
Yeah.
recently, or they recently came here from Vietnam. I don't feel like anyone like who's grown up here knows that.
I don't know. On Facebook, I just be seeing like Vietnamese Facebook. I don't know who's posting it, but I just see a lot of abbreviated stuff. And so I used to my mom like I just put KHG.
oh my gosh, I do
KHG, yeah.
KO because I thought it was the like,
No,
slang.
it's KHG.
oh,
Or I could totally be wrong
Are
though.
there
I
rules
could,
like
I can't say anything.
like oh just take out the vowels or something?
I think they
like
might just take
that?
out the vowels only because like it's hard to input like the vowels and like the yaw and
Oh, yeah.
everything. So in it. But yeah,
Interesting.
interesting. We'll learn more about that later. We'll learn more about that.
Definitely.
So like with all the community work that you have and like now that you're a board member, now that you're a president of PPC, what's next for you? What else do you want to like achieve as you continue on with your journey to do a lot of community work?
So honestly, like now I'm not comfortable in the position. I feel like there's more to branch out. So for instance, like for PBC this year, we kept it internal, especially for executive board members this year. Like they're like learning the position. I felt like by keeping it internal, they'll adjust to it. Once they get comfortable, we'll be able to expand externally. Not saying that we haven't been attending like external events. Like we have been like going to Black April and learning about it. It's just that like now we're like more comfortable like working with other organizations and other community leaders. That's like we also want to build that relationship where it's like, oh, not just professionally, but also it's like, oh, like you're one of my go-to back, like you're my homie for real. Like not homie like that, like not out of disrespect, but it's more like outside where it's like I look up to you because you're like older than me and you have so much of this knowledge that I feel like we should deepen our relationship aside from being professional.
I think it's also, you know, when you have that closer relationship as well, it makes it easier to do collaborative projects and everything too.
Definitely.
Yeah. But do you have any, you know, specific projects that you want to do in the future?
Not at the moment. We're trying to like maybe have summer camp, like leadership skills, day camp, retreat, more of those like events for like members to go and they can bring their friends or whatnot. Like that's something that like me and eBoard and I have been keeping on in mind, but it's practically it. Like I don't have more so to lean on specifically for AAPI, but just for the organization, like for sure, like having more of those leadership retreats would definitely help.
What about us?
Honestly, like
Yeah,
that sounds like something you could definitely go to us for. Actually,
Definitely. That's what I was looking and I was like, wow, I should do that. Because I've also been looking at like other resources, like, you know, those health fairs. Like, I feel like that's something really cool for like members to like go to and educate themselves, see other resources they have in OC. Like, I feel like researching like what is there to offer in Orange County or SoCal in general, like allows you to really like know what's going on. And I feel like educating yourself in with current events in general. So not much so political like activism, more so like educating yourself in the space that you're living in. Like take advantage of that, basically. Yeah. Let me get there. I'm just getting started. Yeah.
But like as you continue your community work, like how else do you also want like the community itself to advance?
Like, I feel like we should build a bridge between the older members of the community and the younger members of the community, because I feel like there's a big divide right now just because of cultural differences and perspectives, that I think we should also like have that empathy where it's like, oh, like it's not easy for, we should also validate and celebrate that resilience rather than like going back and forth and like, I feel like this is too political.
It's not.
Okay.
It is a very like thing that we're also facing,
Yeah.
because we understand like, oh, there's a very big gap between being a first generation immigrant
Yeah,
as well as
definitely.
a second generation Vietnamese American.
Like, I feel like there should be a redirection in how we view things when we come together as a community, rather than seeing it as an opportunity to mourn, and like, which we should obviously, but we should also like consider like the resilience and celebrate those, like, especially since the older members of the community, like, they're not used to celebrating, you know, like, I feel like they're not, like, I feel like they're not giving themselves enough credit and celebrating themselves, you know, for being like here today, like giving us the space to even like exist. I feel like we should, like the younger generation especially, we should also like get to know our older generation to the point where it's like, oh, like we're all connected, and also celebrating the fact that we're Vietnamese, and focus more so on the positive light and how we can move forward together, rather than having to more so say like have the younger generation do what the older do. I feel like a lot of the times, like the generation right now, like they have a different view on how they want to do things. So I feel like the older generation should give that guidance rather than like forcing them like, no, you're supposed to follow tradition. Like, I feel like there should also be consideration of redirection.
Yeah, I mean, it's the evolution.
Yeah, definitely.
As all things go, right? Things change over time while still honoring those traditions.
You're so eloquent.
What does that word mean?
You're well spoken.
Thank you. I think a lot of like my experiences also come from like learning in school too, because a lot of the works that I do also in school is more like focusing on feminist rhetoric and feminist research, to the point where it's like, let's all be open-minded and love each other as humans. I'm not saying like invalidate everyone's like experiences, because that's the point of celebrating those experiences. Like, we take in those and we validate those. But that's another conversation for another day.
For real. Well, I think we learned a lot. Oh, one of the other things is I want to ask you is like, what are some tips that someone can like, you know, use if they want to join into the community more and like do a lot more community work?
I feel like one thing is that looking up like community services near me, like looking online, see what like other organizations have to offer, and I feel like whatever resonates with you, just go for it. Like, at the end of the day, like if you don't like it, it's okay to back out. Like, you're not the one paying to be here. Like, if anything, like you're just here to gain experiences, and at the end of the day, like the experience you gain, even if it's not bad, like at least you learned, and you just go on to another one and another one till you like it, like how I did.
No, that's valid.
Real
Yeah,
valid.
that's how we ended up here.
That's how we ended up here.
Just say yes to a few things. Try it out.
Yes.
If you don't like it, try again. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Emily, for joining us today.
Oh my
we
God.
recorded. And
Would you like to plug any of your stuff, like LVN or
like,
what?
advertisement right now.
Yeah.
That festival 2024 2025 is next year. Look up UVSA on Instagram, Facebook, PBC, same way, you'll find us. You'll just find us. We're all over the place.
Email, DM.
DM.
Email, DM. Just follow the Instagram page. I feel like Instagram, like for my org at least, like we're more on Instagram, like promoting like recaps and upcoming events. Like, that's a whole like, what's it called? Like a whole collection of photos on there you can see
Nice.
yourself. Same thing with UVSA. They have a lot of posts to make.
You got a social media manager?
What? Could you repeat that again?
Do you have a social media manager?
I am the social media
Oh,
manager.
wow.
That's why
For-
she said Instagram.
Oh my God.
That's
For-
why she said Instagram.
For PBC at least. For
That's
UVSA,
a whole other job.
For UVSA, I don't know. That's not me though.
Girl said multiple titles, multiple hats. Girl says nonprofit.
Live, laugh, love.
In this economy? All three in this economy?
Yikes. Anyways, thank you, Emily, for sharing a lot about your community experiences. I think it was very helpful and we valued a lot of it. And then if you want to learn more about our other partner spotlights that you can get ready for looking for, check us out at Give Us Hope OC, but also check out UVSA and PBC on their Instagram because Emily runs it. Okay, thank you for joining us today. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you, Annie. Thank you, Jane.